looking back at how you've got to where you are, there's obviously a number of things that you've gone through in the journey, and the first thing I think it would be good to talk about is what was the single biggest challenge that you faced in moving from a small company started by one or two people to the much larger companies that you are today.
The one thing that actually bogged me down, because I've been running the company for 6 years. For the first 4 years, I was literally just a solopreneur. I was doing everything by myself. Why? Because I knew my quality, I knew my outputs, and I had control. Okay? So the one thing that stopped me from growing is control. Why? Because I had control of my processes, I have control of my outputs, I have control over myself, and that control was rooted in trust issues. I couldn't trust people to deliver the same kind of content I did, the way I shoot, the way I edit fast, the way I produced quality work for my clients, and the kind of intimacy when doing client comms or client facing activities, trust. And from that trust, where did it stem from? It stemmed from ego. I was young, I was a hunk, and I was full of aspirations, being an egomaniac narcissist. I mean, it is what it is. And because of that, I wasn't able to actually share this power or seemingly this form of control to other people. And then two wise people actually asked me three things. Okay, the first thing is, what do you want to achieve, Jeremiah? And I answered, I wanted to build a legacy, And that wise person said, well, legacy is just another word of saying you're an egomaniac. Then I was like, wow, okay, thank you, very nice. But then I went home, I slept on it, and I was like, well, that wise person actually made some sense, Legacy, what is a legacy? When people die with their legacy, will the company grow? Will the brand continue? Or will it die with the founder? So that's the first thing. Second thing was, are you on the business or in the business? The first 4 years when I was running my company, I was in the business. I was in the day-to-day operations. I was shooting, I was editing, I was calling clients, I was going for pre-production meetings. And being in the business, I'm a slave to the business. So the question was, are you on the business or in the business? Being on the business means you are people like Virgin Active, our dear good sir. He is running it, and he's not in the business. He's on the business, managing and supervising whatever happens, or maybe not even supervising, because he has trusted people to actually help him achieve the Virgin dream. Now, the last question, I said 3 questions, right? The last question was basically, are you able to hire people better than you? And that wise person is Jack Ma. The other 2 wise people was actually James Ian and Ethan Lin, And Jack Ma actually said that the way he grew his business was to hire people better than him, because he knew his strengths, he knew his weaknesses, he knew what he was good at and what he sucked at, okay? And the fact that he was able to hire people better than him meant that he gave trust, he gave control, he gave autonomy, empowerment, education, enablement. And from that 4 years running it myself, it enlightened me, And the next 2 years, I grew from 1 person to 3 people to 30 in 3 countries, and I've never looked back since.
I agree, first of all, that I think delegating and being able to remove yourself from the equation, as well as hiring better than you, are all important things, because the world's moving and you can't always be at the top at a personal level when it comes to actually doing the work. I think one thing I would say, there was an experience from my previous startup, was that I didn't think that, and when I was thinking of this startup and I was thinking in my mind, I really want to do this, but one thing was stopping me was doing it alone. And I felt very strongly that I did not ever want to do a startup alone again, because the kind of, it's quite I know sometimes it come across as a sexy or glamorous journey, but it's actually quite a lonely journey. And not having a thought partner can be very, very tough. When there are many, tough days, right? But of course, if you want to have a thought partner and a sort of a partner with you for a long time, you guys really need to be, in sync in some ways, but also different in some ways. And, usually it's much easier to think of someone who's like you as being, we get along. Whereas you really have to challenge yourself to find someone where your values are the same, but probably you think differently, and that will allow you to have a better combination. And I think that's what took me some time. And I mean, obviously, that was a very critical challenge to overcome upfront. Otherwise, I don't think I would have started the company or been anywhere close to coming to where we are today.